Hi. So, this is where I'm imaging us right now, right? Or you, whenever it is that you're watching this video through space time. Let me just adjust the volume. 1212. I hope it's not too loud. Um, Sorry. Anyway, what I'm imagining right now in this road that we've been traveling, it's been really tough. I'm recording this in the middle of the eclipse tunnel of 2025. Everybody's going to know what I'm talking about if you are referencing from that point. Hold on, baby. So, I don't know, baby. You should go check. Let me finish recording. There's a bird in our kitchen that absolutely refuses to leave. It's extremely fascinating and very clearly, well, almost clearly, but not quite yet, considering how intense everything's been feeling emotionally. It's like you can't really tell what's what. Linking to the last reading that I did that spoke about discernment, it's still very tough to do and upkeep. BRB. So, there's no telling for us whether or not this bird that is in our kitchen is a visitation or just genuinely a lost bird. We've also just been generally having a lot of bird visitations over the past few weeks in particular. But anyway, omens, synchronicities, all of that stuff is also on high volume right now, which, as I'd anticipated, would be fun, which I'm sure we all know generally is fun to experience. The part of chaos that makes you feel alive. Anyway, getting to the root of everything. I was saying that I'm imaging us through this tunnel or through this period of life that you're going through right now where you are so worn down that on many levels it would make sense to just resign into the frequency of victimhood and assume that whatever it is that you're going through, or just in general, you're not really built for whatever it is that you may be pursuing. You're feeling like what you've been like clawing your way through to achieve just isn't going to come, and you've heard enough. You've heard enough positive news. You've had enough rituals, affirmations, whatever the fuck it is that you can do to keep yourself afloat. You're kind of just showing up as you are, the way you're so exhausted. Firstly, you are so much closer to achieving whatever it is that you've been wanting to achieve, whatever it is, whatever's sitting at the core of your being as something that you want, even if it's just a feeling, a way of seeing life, a solution out of the problem that you may be going through. You're going to get it, firstly. And secondly, what I'm sensing is just outside of our vision of understanding whatever it is that we're going through and whatever the moment is that presents ourselves, is that this frequency that you're at right now, this one right here of what I just mentioned earlier. By the way, if you haven't resonated with what I've said so far, then you shouldn't be watching. Likely it is that you do. And so this frequency that you're in is perfect. And that's pretty much been the bulk of the point the entire time. You get what I mean? We haven't needed to do anything big or fancy or like whatever the fuck social media will tell you about what's productive and not productive, and what means that you're probably autistic and what means that you're neurotypical, or fucking whether or not you have ADHD, whatever those pointers are, whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing with your life right now, whatever you think you're supposed to be doing in order to achieve your dreams right now is not what it hasn't needed to be anything huge. All this pressure that we put on ourselves just in general, has been so wildly unnecessary. The victimhood, the need for control, the need for tightness, it's been, well, okay, unnecessary would be ridiculous to say. What it's actually been is the medicine, the lesson. We needed to go through that to understand more about ourselves as people. That has been such intense work and such unseen work that I think that a huge part of us, I'm struggling to focus. There's just always all these distractions, and it's like, there's also something that's been happening during this time. It's really difficult for me to keep the channel of what I'm saying with like movement and whatever experience comes from those really uncomfortable sensations that we've been traversing through this period of time, through the eclipse, through whatever it is that you're going through when you're watching this. These things have been very necessary, not unnecessary. Scrap what I said earlier. To teach you about energy work and the victory of achieving that energy work is actually what every single one of us are achieving in one way or another. And that in itself is part of the exciting buildup of celebration that is approaching us very, very soon. In the very near future, from when it is that you're watching this, you are going to achieve this sensation of real victory and celebration. And you did that. You worked very, very hard. The amount of energy that you put into this thing that you're about to achieve took so much, and you're going to understand that it needed to happen at the pace that it did. And you're going to understand. And you're going to feel very clearly the sensation of the existence of divine time, divine intervention, higher power, God consciousness, all that shit, all of the words for it exists in one expansive stream of bliss and being and aliveness that doesn't have the words to describe what it is. That is the thing that all of us on a soul level came here to achieve, no matter what each of our individual dreams look like. If you, and I put this in the description, if you come to a feeling of thinking, even for a second, just thinking, even in passing, and this is why awareness is so important right now. Because, yeah, if you hold a frequency of believing that life is not a fabric of enjoyment, and that your life and your being holds such unique weight to it that's so important that like bends reality in the way in a way that attracts and brings in joyful experiences. If you don't feel that coming, or if you don't believe in it possible, that would be the only thing stopping you from experiencing it, because right now is the time to really see and understand, as within, so without. It feels like the speed with which that is about to unfold, even if you just dip your toe in it in the act of manifestation and the things you've been doing, right? The things you've been doing, but you're so exhausted at like doing, you know, it feels like it's going to be a very impactful experience now to experience manifestation, telepathic communication. It's going to be, yeah, this is, oh, okay. You're going to be the first kind of people to experience it. You know, it feels like it's going to come online in bursts amongst humanity. But in bursts, because I know that we can all find internet information about how this kind of stuff is true. There's been research, etc., etc. We all understand on some level now, hasn't been greatly and collectively acknowledged. Now it's happening, right? It's like it's been stored inside of each of our minds, and that storage is being unlocked in each of us individually and, yeah, collectively, like I've said, in bursts. So that, yeah, it feels like there'll be a greater sense of God amongst us all. And it would be to our best interest to really take it to the top in believing in that. We've been working on the skeleton of the foundation of what we believe in, what we want to bring into our lives, right? Like I said, it's very much linked to the manifestation that's about to happen for you, whatever it may be. It's going to be wonderful to experience in real time and material, but what it's actually supposed to do is strengthen and like solidify, I guess, your relationship with God and with your life and with how God is real and whatever it is that you've built around your spirituality. It feels big. It feels like it's going to change. It's going to change a lot of people, but because of how spread out we are amongst the general collective, I get the sense that we're going to be very afraid to like be ourselves, because it feels like more. That's another thing. There are so many words to describe what's going on right now. So many words. But what I'm communicating here is just how I'm feeling into it and channeling it. But there are obviously many of us feeling into. I honestly believe it's going to be one of those things where we think we're saying different things, but we're all saying the exact same thing. Like religion in general. We're all saying the exact same thing. So anyway, because of that, the nicheness of this information and this way of experiencing life. We may initially be very afraid to like open up, but yeah, follow the impulse to like open up and be yourself. Sorry, I haven't noticed that I'm speaking above the mic. Be yourself, be vulnerable, be unafraid, just chill. Also, I'm also getting the sense a lot of us, I think because of the trauma that we have experienced, especially over the past few years, it just felt like it's been one unnecessary weight after the other. And I think it's made us very tight. I've mentioned this in previous readings. It's made us very, very tight and very closed off and unwilling to experience life from the joy aspect, because the sadness, depression, shadow, darkness aspect has been too heavy for us to. No, it's been too shocking. Yeah, the heaviness was too shocking for us to properly integrate into our energy bodies. It feels like it's integrating. And with that integration, obviously, comes a beautiful sense of power. And it obviously has the experience as well. I keep saying obviously, and sorry, it may not be that obvious. It is an experience of, because of the way that it's happening energetically, it's obviously going to affect your physical experience and perception of your reality. You're going to start noticing things that maybe you never noticed before. Feelings may change about the way that you feel about someone. You may uncover new ways of being intimate. Yeah, that feels very, yeah, that feels like the main energy. Intimacy, closeness. Feels like that. There's going to be a new, a new level of that. Yeah, it's going to feel really, really good. I think this is part of also why the divine unions I'm feeling are coming in. Like, because of how close each of us will be to God, to our personal beliefs, to spirituality, and to just that general frequency of peace, it's going to be easier for the whole lot of us to get clear. Oh, yes, and obviously it's a frequency of truth as well, of clarity. It's going to get a lot easier for us to find each other and to find exactly who it is that we're supposed to be with in whatever capacity. We're going to vibrate the same, with who we're supposed to vibrate at the perfect. It's going to start being, wow. Yeah. Life is going to be unbelievable. But at the same time, like, oh yeah, but this is what we've been saying is life. You know what I mean? You're going to experience a telepathic connection. You're going to be shocked. And then there's going to be another side that says, but you knew this was possible. Lots of reframings of what's possible and what isn't. Very scary reframings. I don't think, and I guess this is part of why I haven't been able to find the words. Why there are no words. I don't think we collectively understand how, especially those who've been living a very spiritually focused life. I don't think a lot of us, especially as of recent, right? I don't think many of us are going to, I don't think we understand now, sorry. I don't think we understand how real this is going to be, how real this has always been, how hidden it's been from the greater collective. I mean, we know, but it's going to be crazy to experience in real time. How specific this experience will be as well. How with some people, they won't get it. And you can see in their eyes, they never will. It's just never going to be a thing that you guys click on. The experience of the other realms, bringing it forth, working and playing with energy and reality. There are people who are going to go through their whole lives not recognizing that that's possible. And they're always going to live out a victimhood story in one way or another. Even if they live their lives in a not victim mentality, at the root of whatever it is that they do is going to be victimhood. The work we've been doing has been clearing that out layer by layer, so that once we're done, we're done. With this frequency of feeling like things aren't going to work out, of feeling like this life isn't a truly miraculous place, like forgetting that. Now that we have recognized how beautiful nature can be, for example, how moving music is, how it can rewire your cells, once you recognize the deeper experiences of life, with the work that we're doing right now, it's never going to end. It's never going to leave us. That sense of God, the way we're about to feel it, it's never going to leave us again. We've worked so unimaginably hard. And it feels like it's highly likely that you really thought that this wasn't real. Like you really do go through moments of darkness and isolation and separation that really convince you, that really tell you, no, God is not real. You're not here for a greater purpose. You're just some guy. You can't trust anyone, right? You have to protect yourself because the world is an unsafe place. Whatever narratives that you've been fed about the shadows and the devil of life, that stuff, really is a completely inaccurate reflection. It's a completely inaccurate reflection of what life actually is. Completely inaccurate. It's really just a program that, once enforced enough time in your brain, will play itself, will project itself into your perceptions and experiences. That's the science of it. There are obviously some things that your soul agreed to. We know the jazz. Okay. I think I've said enough. I think that everything that's left to communicate will be done in the moment that you experience it. And so kudos to you for the work that you've done. And I hope that you can experience this this wave of bliss with the real sense of that, of understanding that you earned it, so to speak. The contradictions, whatever. The point is, you worked very hard for this, okay? You worked very hard for this. And when it comes, please note my words. When it comes, I hope that you can experience it to the full capacity of the joy you have worked to understand but have yet to feel in your heart. It's coming. A huge explosion of real happiness and joy is coming. Hi, Satya. I'm sorry. This isn't one of those individual readings, but you should reach out to me via social media. Sorry, and we can negotiate. So I'm going to shuffle now. I'm not entirely sure if... Hold on, let me sit with that. I love shuffling. Let's see what the cards have to say. Although I really do think that what I started this live stream off with is truly it. You could very genuinely stop watching this right now because, yeah. But I'm going to pull cards to see. If you're still here, then this is obviously for you. Okay. Hey, Mancha. Okay. Cool. So the first star, the first card, I'm saying star because we got the star at the bottom of the deck and the Seven of Cups. Yeah, we'll touch on that. So the first card that fell out is the Hermit, which, I want to say it's the first energy that I opened with feeling. So this is what's happening at a soul level, but it doesn't really feel like it's very understandable on a material level that you're going through this. Mostly because it feels like it may be a purely material experience where maybe, where maybe you're experiencing some kind of actual adversity or hardship in real time. And if not, then it may be that you're feeling this internally on an emotional level, and it makes you feel like this, like you've been abandoned. It maybe you have personal issues of abandonment. Yeah, like I'd mentioned as well, isolation, all those things all the internal shit that we fight. It feels like most of our fight is internal. There's obviously things to be grateful for in the material. There's always room to be more abundant, which, by the way, is a card that fell out for you, the Nine of Discs. So there's always room for that. But right now, it just doesn't feel like it's going well internally. I hope you're doing well too, Mancha. Thank you. It's because of this. It's because of the triggerings of the undercurrents of your own being. Yeah, this light within you is going dee, 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 dee. It's like setting your own. It's like this. The glass covering of the lantern has broken, and now everything is kind of setting ablaze, and it's coming bit by bit, and you're finding yourself going through deep motions of like emotional turmoil or emotional whirlwinds at really random times. You feel very like, it feels like you may be going through a period of some kind of like instability. But anyway, this feels largely internal. Largely internal. Or triggered externally, but mostly internal. Just feels like something you're going through, you know? But yeah, like I said, or like I tried to bring into the story of this card, it's coming. You're going through this because you are being awakened from the inside. Awakening is painful. Enlightenment, all that shit. Ascension. That's what's happening right now. Going within to come without. Very heavy energy to read for, especially going through it and having worked through this for most of this year. There are no words to actually describe the range of what it is that you may be going through, what your internal processings are. It feels like what you're touring right now is part of that section of yourself that you find difficult to share with other people. As follow-ups, like I said, you got the 9 of Discs and the Page of Rods. I am getting a sense of what I'd mentioned earlier, which is that, or I don't know if I mentioned it in these exact words, but whatever your internal turmoil is or has to do with, just like it kind of intercedes or interrupts or is laced with all of your experiences of abundance. Like you may be one of those people who go through those motions where every time you feel too joyful, there's like a pull to self-sabotage so that the crash isn't too hard or painful. But I'm also receiving that it's something you have to wait your process out for. You're like in school to learn how to do this, in underworld school. How that makes sense. You may be a water sign, Pisces, Scorpio, 8th house, 12th house. Yeah. Which means that this season, the eclipse season in particular, but of course, whenever it is that you may be watching this, is very, very, I hate using this word, but it's like my favorite word right now, intense. I don't know how else to describe the densification of the energy and how aware we are of how dense it is, you know? The contrast between, I mentioned you see the star. The contrast between the inner light, the frequency of the truth you understand about life generally, the contrast of that with what's happening in the world right now, with how the world feels, with how the greater collective like hive mind feels. Even though we're all going through it, not many people are going to make it out. There are people who identify with this so deeply that they don't notice that it's something that they can take off, you know? Like I'd mentioned earlier, not everyone's built to like be enlightened or to awaken in this lifetime. There are some people who will never understand the significance of being spiritually, energetically accountable. Not just accountable as a person, but like tending to your soul. That is what you're doing right now. You're tending to your soul. This is obviously what's coming. This is the promise of tending to your soul. That, as I'd mentioned earlier in this live stream, is going to give you a sense of such an incredible mass energy feeling of this, that the next time you go through it, it's never going to feel disempowering. You're going to be able to know when it is that you're in this phase of life and know very clearly to wait the process out. Trust in your inner light, your inner guidance. Try to be as present in the moment as possible as you're traversing your underworld work. you'll understand as well and be able to better accept the fact that you are somebody who lives in between worlds, period. When you are somebody who has the assignment of being a spiritual person in this life, like I said, you need to account for the other worlds that you're a part of. And if you don't actively account for it, the universe will make you account for it, which is why this is happening. So, yeah, you can continue trusting your process and trust that in the end of it, this is a promise. I'd like to discover, I don't know why I use that word, but anyway, I'd like to discover more about what this course interpretation is. I really don't know why I said that. I feel like I'm having a really otherworldly observational experience right now with life, where I'm noticing very clearly how all of this stuff, the understanding of the energetic frequency of this reality, that psychedelic experience, I'm having it with not a piece of psychedelics in me. It's incredible. I really wouldn't be able to hold this down if it is that in some way I'm speaking to somebody who doesn't understand what I'm saying. And I really want to reiterate that the intention with my work is never for you to have to sit through dross that you don't want to receive, that on some level doesn't feel right with you. If at any point during any video you watch, honestly, not just mine, you feel a sense of, turn it off and don't watch it anymore. And I think in general, that's the kind of discernment and strictness we should be using with the internet and with any distractions, because there's so many. I'm saying again and again, there are so many distractions right now. We have to do this. We have to be in this period of our lives, and we have to follow it studiously. Is that the word? Strictly, like a student going to school. You're putting in your grades, This card's interpretation speaks of sustained connection with the higher self, hope, insight, inspiration, new life, new possibilities, the fluidity of an open mind, light from within, enabling problems to be resolved with ease, creative solutions, manifestation of dreams into physical reality, miracles. See, yeah, so I really didn't need to pull cards, because it really feels like what's coming in is absolutely supposed to be happening. Nothing we can stop, nothing we should be able to nothing to unpack too much about. It's very, very important that you go through, that you try your absolute best to be as in the moment as possible. And tying into what it's in the beginning of this live stream, you're feeling tired, if it is that you're feeling depressed, lonely, defensive, isolated, separated. What else? What is this? What is this feeling? When you're when you're trying to shove everything away, whatever that frequency is, I'm feeling into maybe something that that you're tackling with right now. I've been tackling with it very difficultly over the past few weeks. But anyway, whatever frequency or feeling you may be going through right now, that's likely very low vibrational. Be it. Just do it. Don't try to change. Don't try to change it. Just for 1 second, try not to heal. Try to just be yourself. And sit in the little offness that may come from that. It's obviously going to be very uncomfortable, especially for you who is so kind and loving, and you work for your patients, and you're very thoughtful, all that stuff. Hang it up for a second, Hang up trying to be a perfect, empathic, caring, open, whatever person, and just be yourself. Just be yourself right now. This card also speaks of that frequency-wise. It speaks of that. Just being yourself, I made a post about that recently via Instagram. the requirement to give this part of yourself love, the part of yourself that wants to push and shove and force and jump and be a bitch. Sorry, it's been necessary to try to accept yourself for that. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted in this moment. I beg your pardon. Oh, yes. Sorry, so forgive yourself for everything. Try to just be yourself right now. You know, just try to be yourself. Hang up the self-awareness for a second. You are very self-aware as a person already. Yeah, like I've said, you've been doing a lot of inner work already. This is the point in your journey, I believe, where you're just supposed to chill and try your best to be yourself. Accept yourself. Love yourself. Pour tenderness for those isolated parts, yes, I was saying. So in moments where you feel judgmental or you feel like you're just not being okay, you're just being a terrible person, fix that inner voice. I posted about this to say that it's okay. Whenever you're ready to open up, just like you would a child, I'll be here for you, you know. For me, I've had to fix my inner voice to say, you'll change when you're ready. Because I'm always in a constant of needing to change, be better, do better. This whole thing. I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself, so much so that it's kind of paralyzed me to do anything. The perfectionism, all of that stuff. So I've had to pour love on that by saying, it'll happen when you're ready. It'll happen when it's ready. Some things you can't rush. Some processes you cannot rush. If you try to, you'll miss the gold. But also, some of our journeys are very strictly written with a fine pen, you know? And even trying to deviate from that, I mean, it wouldn't work for us. It wouldn't work. Yeah. I really don't think that I have anything more to say. I can only hope that, I guess in general, because I've also felt very, like I've mentioned in this live, I felt very distracted all over the place, a little just so, I don't know, this is a new frequency. I feel very fresh right now, fresh off the rack, fresh off the shelf. Everything that I'm doing and being, the entirety of the way that I'm acting right now is very being. I'm not acting. The entirety of what this moment is for me is very raw. And I'm not thinking. I'm not overthinking. I'm not trying to fix. I'm not trying to like step in front of myself. Normally I'd have a very intense internal dialogue going about how to make this experience enjoyable for the viewer, how to make it real for me. Lots of many different things going on in my head right now, just brrr. And I'm not trying to step in front of the feeling. I'm just being, you know? I hope that we can all do that and just try to be in the moment as much as possible. Yeah, these are very new times. It feels like a lot of things are changing. So we can only be present for the changes. Complete surrender is required. And I wish that for us all. Okay, thank you for watching. And may we continue on, on and on and on and on.